Harrow, Brian Atomic, and Sam C. One wants to prove how atomic he is, the other one wants to change society. That's their own problem, that's their own mindset. Mine, completely different. See, when I step in the ring, it's my ring. I face any opponent who steps in my way and tries to defeat me. So to both of you, and anyone else in WWN, your pain will be Harrow's peace.
Once again, the society changer Samuel C. is here at the WWN Proving Ground show, and tonight it's something different. It's a three-way matchup between Brian Atomic and the mystery man Harrow. I gotta say, this is going to be the first time that I step in the ring with you, Harrow, Brian Atomic. We went head-to-head numerous of times, but tonight is going to be a different night because your society changer is here to change WWN. So let the change begin.
You know, when you have someone as talented, as handsome, as atomic as I am, WWN should be kissing my feet. I should be on a pedestal. But no, instead, they want to put me on a triple threat match against Harrow and Samuel C. The two least atomic wrestlers here at Proving Ground. So, if you wanna put Brian Atomic through these tests, huh? You wanna make Brian Atomic prove just how good he is. Tonight, Sam C, Harrow, I am gonna show you that you guys are just not on my level.
The following contest is a triple threat match scheduled for one fall. Introducing first.
So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the ambassador of the World Wrestling Network, Trevin Adams, joined by Let's Get Serial's own Alyssa Marino. Welcome to WWN Proving Ground.
Oh, Trevin, you have to imagine that coming into this match, Harrow has really got a little bit of a wind at the sails. He's coming fresh off a victory against Jay Villa last week, and he said this is his ring.
Of course, Brian Atomic, just last week, coming off a heck of a showing against Stephen Frick, albeit with a little bit of an assist from ACW heavyweight champion August Artois. Still Frick victorious in the end.
And still, I think Atomic came out to prove that he is main event caliber, and in the main event last week, he showed that he was Atomic.
Indeed, great to see Samuel C here back in WWN Proving Ground. Last time we saw him, very competitive matchup against Anthony Katina. But tonight, totally different setup here from the perspective of a triple threat match. Every man for himself, Alyssa. And you got three guys that are really going to move at the speed of light.
And it's a very realistic thing, Trevin, to consider that there are very different logistics at play in a triple threat match as opposed to the one-on-one bout that Samuel C had against Katina 2 weeks back. But you got to imagine the society changer has a full head of steam heading into this matchup, Trevin.
Indeed, and from an experience perspective, Samuel C definitely the man with the experience, the resume, former ACW Cruiserweight champion, but right now it's going to be a situation of What have you done for me lately? Oh, wait, hold on.
Got two people at it. We'll chill up here, right? We'll chill up here, right?
Oh.
I'm having an atomic break.
An atomic break.
I mean, Brian Atomic knows that this is going to be one hell of a match, so he just wants the best seat in the house for it, I suppose.
Sam C. grabbing that bag of chips.
I'm having a style change report, so.
Even our junior official Dominic Coco's partaking. Unique way to get things started here.
Sharing is definitely caring, but not when it comes to victory in a triple threat match.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is either a genius strategy or a dumb move by Atomic from the perspective of, right now, Harrow, Samuel C., if either of these men found themselves in a pin or submission, they've won the match, and Atomic's outside looking in.
But I think at the same time, Atomic has one hell of a vantage point here, Trevin. He can kind of assess what's going on. He can really get a sense, even though he's familiar with Sam C., even more of a sense of what Harrow is capable of.
No, absolutely. No better seat in the house. As you can see, Sam C. as well as Harrow going tit for tat here. I do expect you'll definitely see sportsmanship between these two athletes as Sam continues to hold on, despite Harrow's attempt to escape.
And Trevin, you talk about the...
Oh, wait, the pin.
You talk about the experience of Sam C., but, you know, how does that compare to the hunger of Harrow and to kind of the validation that Brian Atomic is searching for?
Yeah, Atomic's definitely coming in with quite a chip on the shoulder, and I can understand being in our main event and, you know, still coming up short despite the good showing. Don't get me wrong, but I think if I'm Atomic, I want a win tonight. Obviously, all these athletes will, but I think for especially Atomic, for him, it's in a way do or die, as Sam C just tossed over by Harrow. You know, you go from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the mountain pretty quickly here in the World Wrestling Network.
And speaking of the top of the mountain, perched on the top of the turnbuckle, kind of assessing the situation, is this kind of a smart strategy for Atomic? You know, keep his hands clean until it's really his time to strike.
You see the lockup here again. And Sam keeps going, pulling in that headlock, and it's forcing Harrow to really have to struggle, put a lot of energy in to try to escape from Sam, and not enough, though. Shoulder tackle takes back down Harrow.
Harrow, definitely someone, the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Oh, what a counter from Sam there. And into the pin, no. Immediate escape, but that was pretty interesting coming out of that hip toss into the counter, and a beautiful drop kick as well. Sam's taking down Harrow, and I guess if Brian Atomic's scoring in on points right now, Samuel sees up.
I mean, Atomic is really just surveying this what almost would appear to be a singles matchup between Sam C. and Harrow right now.
Yeah, for sure, Atomic obviously is getting to be fresh while he watches these two athletes battle it out. But as I mentioned, it is one fall to a finish. So Atomic truly may not even be involved in things. And oh, Harrow holding on here. Interesting way to hit the reverse DDT. Pinfall. 2 count only, but a great counter this time from Harrow. And I'll be honest, Alyssa, I'm enjoying this one-on-one matchup despite the fact it's supposed to be a triple threat.
But think about it too, Trevin. I mean, Brian Atomic does not look in any rush to try and break up the pinfall. And things, like you said, very much could have ended at the hands of Harrow just there.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but whenever I'm going to do physical activity, I don't know if I want to eat right up into the moment that I'm doing that physical activity. Is Sam in some trouble there. Harrow hitting right into the kidneys. Now Sam fighting off Harrow.
Sam has those really lethal strikes.
And the uppercut now hit from Harrow. And like I said, these two men definitely bringing it to one another, but you can still see, following the rules, sportsmanship definitely in full effect here. It's two fan favorites in this moment, Alyssa.
Two fan favorites that both want a decisive victory, whether or not Brian Atomic chooses to get involved in this matchup.
Oh, 100%. Because you got to think, if I'm Harrow, or again, Brian Atomic, should he get involved, you look at Samuel C. and you look at a guy that not only has been an ACW Cruiserweight champion, but a man who has main evented multiple ACW events, and really just stood out here in the World Wrestling Network. So, to me, Sam's the guy to beat, so to speak. If you can get the pin on Sam, you can really brag.
Certainly, this could look like a moment to capitalize. I mean, if both of the opponents are somewhat laid out, and it looks like Brian Atomic is finally looking to stir in this matchup.
Yeah, and finally, Atomic joining the fray and going for the pin. 2 count only here. Clearly, Atomic saw an opportunity to jump in, take advantage, and now you see here vicious strikes as that headlock is put on. Excuse me, that Atomic headlock, my mistake, applied by Brian Atomic.
And Trevin, you talked about, getting into the fray. I think this is more like trying to pick clean the bones of Harrow. After everything that Sam C and Harrow had put each other through, here comes Brian Atomic trying to capitalize.
No, it's an absolutely great point here. And, again, Harrow as well as Samuel C was throwing it all at one another. It was a sprint in there between these two men. And now you've got Harrow left alone being attacked by Brian Atomic. And obviously Atomic very pleased with himself as he goes for that pin. Not enough to put away Harrow, but you said it, Alyssa, once again, from the perspective of taking advantage of the rules of the matchup, that was definitely Brian Atomic.
Yeah, Atomic was definitely working within the constraints of the triple threat scenario and really using it to his advantage now, Trevin.
Yeah, and for all intents and purposes, there's really a lack of countouts, as you can see Sam not being counted. Really, there's a lot of things that, lack of disqualifications. Don't get me wrong, there's things that can go down that would get the referee to perhaps throw the match out. But, Atomic sitting in the corner would never pass the 5-count test in the past. But right now, you can see the attack on the small of the back of Harrow as we have a heck of a sleeper hold being applied here. Now going into an Atomic camel clutch.
Yeah, wrenching things back, that pressure on the lower back, also making it more and more difficult to draw air into the lungs for Harrow to keep himself alive and kicking in this match.
You can hear WWN faithful getting behind Harrow as Harrow coming up on his feet.
Wow, look at that strength. But Harrow was able to power himself out with a full human body on his back, Trevin.
At least for the moment, but you notice the Atomic cravat as well as a kick there to Samuel C. Atomic keeping an eye on Sam, which is very smart. That's what you're going to have to do in this kind of a situation. You need to know where both opponents are, but take your eye off Harrow for a second, and this is what happens.
Yeah, it's all well and good when you're scouting from the top turnbuckle with a bag of chips in your hand, but when you're actually in the fray, things are quite different.
Yeah, and as Harrow comes to life here, Atomic definitely in trouble. Dumped head first, and Atomic now just got hit in the knee by Harrow. You've seen just a flurry of offense come out of nowhere here from Harrow.
Atomic laid out, not looking in a good way, and now Harrow's got him.
Oh, rake in the face. You gotta be kidding me. Atomic hits the enziguri as well, but we're finally starting to see Samuel C head back towards the ring. And the body of Atomic just thrown at Sam, and now inside of the ring. At back suplex. Atomic's on fire here, Alyssa.
Yeah, Atomic is really using all of the frustrations from last week and throwing them at Samuel C and Harrow in this matchup.
And again, to your point, momentum-wise, you got Harrow, who's coming off actually double duty last week. Oh, wait, crossbody coming from the top here. Samuel C takes out Atomic. Is this the end of the match? Not quite, but almost a win there for Samuel C. But I was about to say, Samuel C coming off a loss against Katina 2 weeks ago. You've got Harrow coming off a win last week, and then a loss in the tag team match. A little bit of a different situation we'll talk about later, perhaps. And then, of course, Atomic, big showing in the main event, but again, also a loss. So from a standings perspective, lock and give here, and what a kick. And here's the pin, but broken up by Harrow flying into the ring, and this for sure is what a triple threat looks like. Nothing like a little chaos to get things started here on WWN Proving Ground.
Absolute madness to kick things off at Proving Ground indeed, as everyone now just jockeying for position and trying to get a standing, some level footing here in the match.
Counter here, Harrow, unique way to hit the backbreaker, and Sam's prone, but gets out of the way of the kick. And instead, big boot from Sam himself, and before you can even get a pin there, here's Atomic tossing out Sam, and are you kidding me?
Oh, come on.
Atomic steals it.
Here's your winner, Brian Atomic.
Now, it definitely follows the rules of the matchup, but still, you got to be kidding me. Brian Atomic, who sat out half the match to begin with, just basically stole Samuel C's victory.
You know, was it the most honest maneuver? No. But was it smart? Obviously, yes. It certainly worked in the favor of Brian Atomic to be able to really have a survey of the match that was going on and be able to scout his opponents a little better. It paid off in the end, as now Brian Atomic stands victorious here at Proving Ground.
And lucky for us, I think in a moment we're going to hear from Brian Atomic. Still great showing by Harrow, Samuel C. That's a matchup I'd love to see someday one-on-one, but Michael James now head to the ring. Let's hear from Brian Atomic.
Brian, congratulations on the win. What do you think about that last time? I think that I just dominated. What? Honestly, I barely even broke a sweat. What? I showed that sanity can change no society. What? You look like you're in Vaseline. Harrow will never get peace from pain. What? But most importantly, that I am Grindhouse.
Well, say what you will, but Brian Atomic should be pleased with himself, even if he did have to exploit just about every inch of the rules of a triple threat to be victorious. End of the day, Brian Atomic gets the win in the record books and gets to go home eating chips.
Oh, there you go. And that's what matters. We're not going to see the asterisk on this win for Brian Atomic.
Brian Atomic, first you run your mouth, and yet you still weasel your way to a victory. Well, good for you. And Sam C, I owe you a kick as well. I'll be seeing you too in the near future. Because one day, your pain will be my peace.
Man, I'm supposed to change society. What's going on right now? I gotta say, tonight is definitely not my night. I mean, the crowd was there. Don't get me wrong. I was there for the crowd. Everything was going just fine. I hit the club. I thought I got it. But Brian Atomic, oh my God, you stole the win from me. You stole the win from the WWN people. You know, I'm not even going to worry about it. I just understand that when I come back, I'm going to be stronger than ever. And I promise you, at the end of the night, and I promise you, at the end of this year, I will change society. So let the change begin.